Hey everyone, this is DNS and today we're gonna learn how to play 4-gate Blink from Mr. Maxpax himself. So we're gonna delve into a couple of replays from him, both of them against Clem, so pretty worthy opponent. And we're gonna see how it's done, the build order, the decision making and everything around it. It's probably one of the few S-tier builds in this matchup. It's super strong, at least according to Clem. He whines about it all the time. But it's probably more difficult than it seems. And of course the micro is pretty intensive, but the decision making as well is not super easy in certain scenarios. So we're gonna delve into that and watch how Maxpax does it. So in the early game, nothing very extraordinary. He goes 20 core, 20 nexus, 21 pylon. So far so good, nothing special. Like the pylon in natural, so you can wall later on with a gateway and a robo. Chrono the adept start warp gate instantly, and whenever you have 100 gas, you make a twilight cancel. Chrono the second adept, and he's gonna start a third unit, a stalker. Why? Because he would like to go across the map with the 2 adepts, but sometimes it's pretty difficult to do just that when the Reaper stays on your side of the map. Maxpax sees the Reaper is going back, so she's gonna shade back with the adept right there. And he's gonna get a second gateway, so that when warp gate finishes, both gateways are available to warp in 2 stalkers. Blink is gonna start right now, and you're gonna chrono boost this bad boy quite a bit. On the other side of the map, the adept is, just seeing what's up and keeping the turn honest. Now he's gonna start the robo very shortly, I believe. At least he should. Here's the adept, no big deal. A robo. You make sure the adept, the adept stays here so the Reaper cannot jump up. It's a pretty big deal. Because you don't really want your opponent to see how many gates you have and if you have a Dark Shrine or not. 2 more gates. Pylons, so you're not supply blocked like I am very frequently. Warp gate's over and 2 stalkers are gonna be warped in. Come on. Thank you. So you keep making probes all the time, get that gas once you're pretty much saturated on your natural, and you start the prism as soon as you can. I'm gonna watch the game from Maxpax's perspective. So now he's basically trying to push the Reaper away so he can move out easily, take that base very soon as well. The adept sees the Cyclone, which indicates there's a pretty low % chance there's a Widowmine drop heading his way. And you can see Clem's already got a tank and he's making a second one, so he's kind of seeing it coming. Let's see what Clem saw. Yeah, he saw 3 gates in a robo, so it's a very wise decision from Clem to chase that. Especially because Maxpax is very well known for doing this strategy, especially on this map, because it's probably the best map in the map pool for a 4-gate Blink. Maxpax is gonna have a little surplus of minerals, which is gonna go into a third base, only 3 geysers. And now we just go full on attack. He's making an observer, of course, after the prism, so he can have vision in between the 2 bases, so he knows where to go. And we're gonna watch from Maxpax's perspective. This is where the intense micro starts. You don't want to overcome it. This is why you need a lot of experience with this build. You don't want to overcome it too much. You need to have a good judgment on when to go, when not to go. Keep in mind, Maxpax is always building 2 probes at a time. Well, almost. At least he should. Now he's got 15 stalkers, which is quite a bit. The observer is gonna arrive there. And the key for Maxpax now is gonna make sure he doesn't lose stalkers straight. Well, see, he's doing all position there. And he blinked in, so he can use the prism to save the stalkers. I don't know how many he saved there, but maybe like 3 or 4. So far, it's pretty bad, for Maxpax. Your equal worker count. Clem hasn't taken damage. So far, this is a very, very good defense by Clem. But you can see Maxpax is gonna make it happen. Whenever Clem makes a little tiny mistake, goes up the ramp, he jumps on the bunker. Always use the prism or micro like this. He sees the tank, so he pulls back. And you don't want to overcome it stupidly. You take your time. And right now, see, Clem's resources tab lost has pretty much doubled, killed the bunker, and Clem is kind of playing in the dark at this point. He's gonna kill the observer, which is a pretty big deal. Maxpax decides He's got too many tanks to defend, so he's gonna use a prism to harass and try to go at both locations at once. At home, Maxpax is chrono boosting all 3 Nexus, at least I think he did. And you can see he's already going a little bit ahead in terms of prop count. Adding 4 extra gates, the third base is fully saturated, gets its sentry for Guardian Shield, charge, +1 attack, and we're gonna go into Robo Bay and a fourth base rather, pretty soon. Also keep in mind, look at, this is a very big deal, look at what he does. He's got a Stalker here to see if there's a drop incoming, there's a Stalker there to cover the other side, the Prism is there, there's a few Stalkers there, and of course, the big army at the front. If Clem ever tries to send a medevac across the map, he's gonna be spotted. This is a very big deal, because if Clem would decide right now to load up 2 medevacs, say, go around the army and park his bio there, and move out with the big army, he would lose everything. He would get sandwiched and he would lose everything. And if you lose all of the Stalkers, well, you lose the game. So let's see what Maxpax does. Okay, he makes an Immortal, makes sure he doesn't lose too much, and he buys himself a lot of time here. He kills a few units, but he's buying time for the key units. He loses quite a bit of Stalkers actually. Got a counter attack, but Clem is in position, but you always want to have that counter attack. Keep the Terran honest. Also, you remade an observer, so he knows where the units are rallied. Force gets cancelled, no big deal, but Colossus on the way. Like Clem is doing such a good job, honestly, this game. There's a big engagement here, and it's gonna go pretty evenly. I think slightly in Maxpax's favor. There's a good target fire on the Stalkers. Maxpax is in position, he's got the warping in the main. And Clem is kind of being indecisive, and it's going to be very costly actually. It's very, very costly for the Frenchman. And you can see at the same time there's a little run by. It's one of Maxpax's specialties, always to have something going on the other side of the map. And this observer makes a big deal as well, because this observer sees the lack of unit, or if they are unit, and he can make the right decision, park the units there or there, and whenever the units are leaving, he just sends the zealots. Now Maxpax, after killing these drops over there, senses he's got a little bit of a lead, and he's going to try to put on some pressure. This is like, the goal of this is not necessarily to kill or anything like that, but it's more for this little run by to actually deal damage in the SCV line. The thing is, Maxpax is quite a bit ahead in supply because of all the little moves that he did in the interactions with the medevacs earlier on. And look at this, it's gonna be so tough for Clem to deal with. He's got to deal with 2 sides at the same time, you know. And this army is pretty big. There's also a Colossus that's uncontested. I'd argue that Mr. Maxpax is overextending a little bit. So wisely he pulls back. There's a second Colossus coming. I think Clem barely doesn't have enough to completely crush the army, but still a little bit of an overextension by Maxpax. There's reinforcements coming to save the day, but actually the Colossus is gonna survive, it's gonna die, so it wasn't too great by Maxpax. But at the end of the day, you know, even if you don't trade too well, you don't care too much. I mean, you do care obviously, but you have the force bait that's completely done, saturated, you have both upgrades going on, and the Terran, you know, he's struggling, you know. He's struggling really hard. Maybe even a Dark Shrine wouldn't be too bad. As you can see, Clem has no source of detection aside from the scans. And when you've been struggling the whole game, you don't really want to spend your scans. You know, you want to use your mules constantly to have as much money as you can. As you can see, Clem has more income, but he's got 15 less workers. So that's really the strength of mule, and this is why it's so important for us to be ahead, like severely ahead, I would even argue, in workers. He's going for a 5th base at this point. He could even move this observer forward, and Maxpax is gonna repeat the same operation once again. Send a few zealots on the side and the main army there. Clem completely anticipated that move. Bunch of Widowman, but Clem is doing a good job, honestly. He's doing a very good job. He's still gonna die. Really highlights the strength of the strategy. Maxpax is really so aggressive. It's like a zest style to it, you know. I would even argue it's too aggressive, you know. Maxpax is very rich in this game, he knows it. So he thinks that as long as he keeps the turn on his side of the map and he keeps trading, at some point he's gonna win, and this is the rational way to play, I believe. This kind like Clem, you can see Clem is actually doing very well considering the situation. It's too far behind to actually make it happen. I mean, he's done miracles in the past, and I believe he will still make miracles happen. In this very game, it's so difficult, and Maxpax is just constantly putting on the pressure while keeping up with the economy. Like almost 80 workers, double upgrade is gonna kick in, and this is gonna be GG. So you can see a 4-gate blink that didn't do too much, arguably, and still won the game in the end. So GG, and we're gonna dive into game number 2. Alright, game number 2 between Maxpax and Clem. This time around it's gonna be on Neo Humanity. Maybe not the best map for this style. There are some pros and cons obviously on every map. The good thing of this map is with this wall you can just fully wall with a cyber core, so you place here, which means the Reaper is never going into the main base, so it's pretty difficult for Terran to actually knows what's up. So that's one of the reasons why 4-gate blink is good. The second reason why is that it's a map on which on paper it's not too good, because it's pretty easy to cover both bases, you know, like it's pretty tough to blink up there, you know, it's small, it's not very wide, which makes 4-gate blink not too good, and it makes a build very common on this map, which is triple CC. You can see this build being played very frequently on this map for good reason. Clem decides to open with a Reaper first, but Maxpax goes into a Zealot. Probably not the biggest deal, you know, I'm not gonna delve too much into that. All that matters is really the 4-gate blink itself. A very standard opening from Clem, and Maxpax obviously going for the 4-gate blink, which is why I'm making this video. Clem has not seen anything, that's the reason why you make this score here. So Clem, if you put yourself in his position, doesn't see much. He makes a Hellion, which actually manages to get into the main base, so he sees a Twilight Cancel. What did he see? He saw 2 gateways in a robo. So whether there's 3 gates or 4, you know, I think it's pretty much the same response for Terran. At least most of them are gonna take it very seriously and assume it's a 4-gate blink and go full on defense. And it's indeed gonna be a 4-gate blink, obviously. A little bit supply blocked. You make the prism as quickly as possible. And that's a little bit of a micro mistake by Clem. He's gonna lose the Widowmine drop. Which is pretty annoying because you always want to have some mines on the other side of the map so you can threaten the Protoss, and the Protoss needs to leave a couple Stalkers behind. Maxpax decides to only leave 1 because he killed 1 mine, so he assumes there's only 1 mine remaining, because usually a Widowmine drop generally has 2 mines. In that case there was only 1 mine because Clem decided to make a tech lab ASAP to go into tanks, which is a pretty wise call in my opinion. Third base once again goes down when you have a little mineral surplus. And here we go, full on attack, and we're gonna warp in 4 more Stalkers. Clem makes double bunker. He has a tank well placed here, but look at Maxpax, look at this smart boy from Denmark. Gonna take it very easy, take it slow, you know. Kills 2 SCDs, get a Marine, get on the Marine, tank sieges. Goes back, you know, he killed 200 resources for free, kinda. He will and we're still making probes, always making probes. 4 additional Stalkers, and let's see what Maxpax does. He loads an Adept, which is gonna tank for the tank shot. You blink in, and bam, you kill the tank. And that way, you save Stalkers because the Adept is tanking for your Stalkers. That's such a brilliant move, actually. It's very simple, but very effective. And just like that, you kill the tank. Maxpax makes the fort once again, gets charged, gets an extra observer. He's gonna try to go for a double prong harassment. So he knows there's a Viking, you know, he saw this Viking. He actually targeted it a little bit. But now he's not gonna dive too deep unless he wants to kill the Viking, because it's pretty low at this point. But he's careful, he doesn't want to lose the prism. And on the other side of the map, since he killed the tank that was there and he saw the other one was there, he knows there's only 2 tanks, at least I believe he saw that. And in that case, he knows he's free to go on this side of the map. He's gonna utilize this little edge over there so he can actually retreat safely. And he's gonna multitask, we're actually gonna watch him actually kill the Viking. I'm gonna see that again. And while you're attacking, always make probes, very important. You can see he's always building probes. The Viking is low, is gonna pick it up, which is a pretty big deal. Now the prism is very safe, and you keep trading on the other side. Stalkers very well microed, very well done by Maxpax. Kills 7 ACBs, kills the Viking, and just like that, Clem is plummeting in supply. Look at Maxpax, almost up 20 supplies, got 12 more probes. He's gonna chrono boost the Nexus to make sure he's even more ahead, you know, as Artosis says, when ahead get more ahead. This is what he does. He's gonna add 3 more gates. And basically this is a build where you have to be very opportunistic. Whenever you see an opening, you just seize it. But you need to judge very wisely whether to go for it or not, because if you overextend and you lose your stalkers, the game's just straight up over, you're dead. So there he killed the other tank, he killed the medevac, and you can see Clem is stuck at home, he cannot move out, and in the meantime, Maxpax is getting rich, you know, he's getting everything he needs. And Clem is stuck at home. If you look at the resources tab, it's okay, it's pretty even, but then again, Maxpax killed a very valuable unit, 2 tanks, medevac, a Viking, and it keeps Clem at home. Like Clem is only starting the 3rd CC at 7, almost 8 minutes, while Maxpax is planting down his 4th base. And also Maxpax got the complete control of the map. He sets up a little Zealot counter attack, just like the other game. He's basically doing the same stuff. Now he's gonna try to poke a little bit the Marines, buy some time, which is what you should do. Every time that you do this maneuver, even though you lose a couple stalkers, you still buy yourself some time, as we see the... I actually lost the prism? No way. Oh, that's very bad. That's pretty unfortunate. At least he got his revenge on the filthy turret. Yeah, well, ideally you don't lose your prism. Let's assume the prism is still alive. But you can see, like, it's not so much the forget blink itself, it's really like the follow-up, the fact that you can keep the Terran at home, and you have like a free reign, you can do whatever you want at home. But it's a strategy that snowballs really hard. And in both those games, Maxpax didn't kill his opponent because, you know, Clem defends this build very well. But it's also very likely you're gonna kill your opponent with this. You really have to pay attention and seize the opportunities when they show up. I'm gonna watch the rest of the game quickly because, like, the point of the video is kind of over, but it's still nice to see the end of the game, I guess. So Maxpax's plan is basically to outmine his opponent, keep trading, and since you mine more, at some point you win. Quick math, basically. Once again, this is a move that Maxpax does, but he does it all the time because it's just so effective. One run by on one side and the main army on the other. It's very difficult as Terran to micro both sides at once, and Zealots and A moves are pretty good. And you can see when Clem's attention is there, boom! The disruptor shots, plus 2 mines, gives a bit of bio. But you have to be careful. Mid-game Terran is very good, so you don't want to overextend. Don't tell me Maxpax is gonna lose in the end, I would be sad. Not that I don't like Clem, but considering the position he was in, I'd be very surprised. And you can see, like, Maxpax got 4 disruptors, so he feels pretty safe, you know, he knows he's not gonna get A-moved by his opponent. So he sends a big Zealot run by, and you can see Clem still on 3 bases, you know. He's gonna want to take that base, which is why he set up 2 mines there, for for a run by. But Maxpax really wants to keep Clem as poor as he can. And you can see, this base is running out of minerals, this base is gonna be very short in minerals too. And look at the income. Maxpax is so far in income, so basically now all he needs to do is try to delay this base and keep trading. And if you keep trading when you mine more, I think you're smart enough to understand that your opponent is going to run out of resources at some point and is going to lose. Oh, that's a big shot once again. Run by has been well held on the other side of the map. Like, you gotta understand, Clem is not playing bad at all. Like, he's not playing bad by any means. He's doing a very good job. He's been on top of every single run by. But it's just the power of that playstyle, you know. Dividing the attention of your opponent is also a very big move. Whenever Maxpax attacks on one side, every single time there's another run by. But see, Clem plants a little Widow Mine there. It's invisible because of the armory, so you actually can spot the run by. He's got one on both sides, which is very good. Also, a Widow Mine here to kill the spotter at the watchtower. Every trade is a good trade for Maxpax like this one. Even if he loses more, as you can see here, he lost 3k more resources. When you mine way more than your opponent, he's up 30 probes. 84 probes to 86. 56, I'm sorry, SCV, so you don't really care. All you want to do is trade it. Even if the trades are a bit unfavorable, you don't care. You know you're gonna win in the end. This is pretty much the Zerg playstyle, you know, when you make expendable units like landings, and you keep trading, because you're rich, you just win in the end. And you can see Clem kinda struggling in this game. And he's really doing the best as he can. He was too far behind from the early game, in my opinion. Clem really capitalized as best he could on the early damage that is dealt. And even if the trades are not too great for Maxpax, I mean, they're not so bad. It's only 2.7k difference, which is not that big of a deal, especially when you're up 20 workers. Finally Clem is going to do something on the other side of the map, but that's the real strength of this playstyle. You really, you basically stay at home as the Terran. It's very difficult to go across the map to do anything. And you can see like the whole entirety of the map is red at this point. Maxpax is going to clean that up. It's going to go this time around for the invisible boys. Actually, watch that from his perspective. He sees the... Oh, there's no turret actually. And he's gonna kill that base. And I think this is gonna be the end of it. The thing is, when you're stuck at home against almost 10 disruptors, you can't really run forever, you know, at some point you're hitting the wall. DTs have kind of been cleaned up, who cares, you know. You got what you came for, which is the planetary fortress. And just like that, Maxpax gonna get the W over Clem. And this is it. This is how you play Forget Blink. Of course, with the follow-up, this was a pretty long game. But all that matters is really the Forget Blink, the follow-up behind it. And just like that, you can beat Clem, you know. And if it beats Clem, you can pretty much beat everyone else. So anyway, this is it, guys. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, obviously. And see you next time.